So Instagram and kind of just all of the internet and all of content has gone to and I'm gonna talk about why. I've been chronically online like my entire life. Every type of content just absolutely sucks. So let's start with Instagram. I go on my feed on Instagram and I cannot for the life of me see my friends. I don't care about like, why are you guys trying to copy TikTok? I mean, I guess monetarily, I understand why you guys are trying to copy TikTok. And now my photos are also getting, like if you edit a pimple on Photoshop, it says that it was edited with AI. Like what is up with that? The platform that used to be the coolest platform for video and photo people where you could just show off the photos that you had taken. If you're making money off a video, sometimes you can't really like show off that you went to Big Bend or something and you took a bunch of pictures. So Instagram was the coolest platform to go do this, and now it's just filled with a bunch of I want to see what my friends are eating. I want to be able to see the vacations that they went on, and you can't do that anymore. Instagram used to be a place where you could just share photos that you had taken for fun. You could talk to your friends and see what they were up to, like legitimately up to, not what the AI feed decides that you want to see. You follow people and that doesn't matter. Like you might as well just follow 0 people because it doesn't, like you're not gonna see their stuff. Sometimes you'll see their stories, I guess, but it kind of just, the algorithm like chooses which ones like got the most engagement and those are the ones that they show you. But yeah, you can't escape it. Like now there's no platform where you could just casually go, just exist and see what your friends are up to or anything. Like that doesn't exist anymore. Everything is AI, and just what is going to keep attention the longest and what is going to keep people on the platform the longest. And I understand monetarily why these companies are doing that, but it just sucks so much because there's just not like there's not a space anymore. There's just not. And it's horrible. There's not a space to go to anymore where you just want to share stuff with your friends. It's all about trying to get the most engagement for the platform because they want to make the most money from advertisers and whatever. And it's just absolutely sucks. I even miss old YouTube sometimes, or you could just like there's not really much of an inherent point to a subscribe button anymore because you'll subscribe to somebody and yeah, you kind of like sometimes get them recommended to you at a higher rate if you're subscribed to them, but it's all about like the videos that you interact with. So you could very well like keep up with somebody's videos and never subscribe to them because they'll just get recommended to you through the algorithm, and that just sucks. Like, it just sucks that that's the way that things are now. None of the platforms are gonna step in and do this because it's just not monetarily like the best for them. We're stuck with nothing but random, whatever goes on Instagram. I'm Gen Z, right? So like I've been on YouTube, I've watched the Viners, and then the Vine, they went off of the Vine and they went on YouTube, and then it was like a whole thing. And then the fact that like anybody could go and just start filming themselves was so enticing to me because previously you were stuck with just Hollywood and just Hollywood kind of doing their thing, I guess. You couldn't really break into that at all unless you were like a Nepo baby or something, or you went to LA or New York and kind of like worked your way up and just like tried to get every crumb that you could until you worked your way up to the top. So when YouTube came along, like anybody could pick up a camera and start uploading and making goofy videos, and even stuff like Ray William Johnson, where he was even trying to do more of like a production and review stuff. When that started happening, I thought it was magic. It was like, oh my god, anybody can do this. Like you don't have to go to LA or go to New York or whatever. It was so enlightening and so inspiring. People can still do that. Like you can still go and just start making videos and start making content, but it's so different now because the traditional companies and stuff have become involved. So I feel like for that reason, it's just not the same. It's like you have highly produced stuff on YouTube now. In fact, like I do see a resurgence of people that are shooting like lower budget or lower barrier to entry content, but you still have high budget things on YouTube. Like you'll be Mr. Beast or something, like his stuff is highly produced, and there's a huge team of people working on those videos. So don't be fooled and think that like he's it's just him shooting and editing like that. Like, there's a whole team of people behind him. I think I saw one time he has like 50 editors. Like, the amount of work that goes into those videos, like those are full-on productions now. I actually think we're headed in a direction of not really having Hollywood anymore. Hollywood will be like a shell of itself, really. These kind of like content people will be making content, sort of, right? So like you see like the Talk to Me guys, they were on YouTube and suddenly now they're making movies. Is like, I think that's the direction we're headed in, because Hollywood's kind of a mess and it's full of nepotism and just very expensive too. Like, there's just these big production companies are making like extremely expensive stuff. So I think we're going to see way more of just individual people making content and kind of creating movies and stuff, like all on their own, at least for the movie space, or at least till AI takes over. And then, you know what, like we're gonna just have AI and you're gonna input, hey, I want Dexter season 8 remade, or you're gonna be able to input into the AI that you want Game of Thrones season 8 remade, and then you'll get like a proper version of Game of Thrones through the AI. So I think we're headed in that direction, as well as like all content will kind of be either individual creators that have built a brand and are able to kind of like fund their own stuff sort of and have like a following, or AI. And then Hollywood will become like a much like nicher kind of like shell of itself, because they're wasting so much money on these like Marvel movies and stuff, and like people just don't want to see that. I mean, some of them like get views or whatever, but for the most part is like, I don't know, I think that that's the direction we're headed in. And I think more and more, like you can actually see in the productions, like more and more of them are kind of happening outside of LA. I think just generally the cost of just, if you think of a production, right, it's like you have hotels and catering and all this other stuff. And like, so you're taking that, and if you're shooting somewhere else a little bit cheaper, like Georgia, like you are able to cut your costs in half, if not more. And don't get me wrong, I love that you have the ability to go on TikTok, and that's kind of becoming the new, like, people, just like random people going on and making stuff. Like TikTok is that now, where you go and you just create whatever you want and you can meme and do all that stuff. So that's kind of like, that's TikTok is that now. I think that we've kind of reached a point of diminishing returns where so many different things are battling for our attention. I haven't really watched like a movie where I've not like in theaters. I've gone to theaters a couple times, but I have not like just put on a movie and watched it. I know that's like really sad, especially for somebody that's like in the kind of video realm, but I haven't like just put on like Fargo or something, or like put on like Shawshank Redemption and just sat there and watched it. I think it's because you can just, there's so many things like fighting for my attention right now. Like there's like a podcast, there's podcasters I like, and then there's TikTok. Like you could just, TikTok, we created legal dopamine, where you just go on there and you're like just scrolling, and you have like spent like 30 minutes and you've looked at like garbage. Like it's just virtual cigarettes. But sometimes I just find myself like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I like feel burnt out of the amount of content that there is and the amount of things that are fighting for my attention. And I just think generally there's going to be a pullback of the industry, like a significant one, and it already is pulling back, but like an even more significant pullback. I miss when YouTube was just people posting videos and having unhinged rants like this one. Early YouTube was like such a wonderful land. Excited to see where content goes from here, but and we'll also see if TikTok gets banned. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. It's like, that kind of suck, because that's like the only place right now where people are kind of like authentically posting, if you will. Even YouTube is pretty highly produced at this point. Like you would think that it's not, but I work with a couple of really, really big YouTubers, and they have like full-on productions, and they're spending like a lot of money on those productions. It's not just like one person kind of doing everything like it used to be. I'm doing everything on my channel, but I also have a lot of experience in video, so it's like a little bit different. When I waste my time doing this.